Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast update for the Western U.S. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, as we look at the satellite picture here on Tuesday morning, we've got a lot of cloud cover and a lot of precipitation starting to make its way into the Pacific Northwest. Heavy rain falling across western Oregon, and across western Washington, and it will eventually make its way down into western Oregon and far northern California over the next 3 to 4 days. Opportunities for more of the west to get some rainfall here as we head through the weekend. We'll talk about where that's going to be here in just a couple of slides, but as we get started on this Tuesday, a lot of folks not in the Pacific Northwest waking up to at least some broken sunshine here, broken blue skies as we get our Tuesday started. Looking at the radar right now, again, there's the heavy rain in western Washington. That'll start making its way south along the coast into Oregon as we head through the rest of the day into tomorrow. And then we've got some light showers across northern Arizona, southern Utah as we get started on this Tuesday morning as well. Temperatures across the region, we've got some cooler temps in the high elevations, but we've enjoyed a little bit of warmth across the region, broadly speaking, over the last few days. Now, as we start to dig that trough in across the western United States, we're going to bring some colder temperatures in as we head into the weekend and early next week. Now, as we look at the National Weather Service hazards map here on Tuesday morning, again, relatively quiet across the lower 48. We've got temperature-related advisories across the southeast, where we're seeing our first exposure to some sub-freezing temperatures across the Carolinas and the back into northern Alabama. As we talk about the west, though, we've got high wind watch across Montana, some of the higher elevations expecting some strong winds with the passage of this next trough. And then we've got dense fog advisories in places across parts of central California and northern Washington. So we look at the fire weather forecast for day 1 on the top right, day 2 on the bottom right from the Storm Prediction Center, not looking at any areas of elevated fire weather conditions over the next 48 to 72 hours, and so we continue to see some good news in that respect. Now, here is the total precipitation forecast over the next 7 days. It's going to be heaviest here across western portions of Washington and Oregon, and then through the higher elevations of northern Idaho into Montana. This is where we can expect some heavy snow as we head into the back half of the weekend and early next week. We do bring some precipitation further south into the remainder of the west. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a real soaker. We're talking about kind of some glancing blows, some 12 to 24 hour opportunities for some precipitation, but certainly not looking at setting up, an atmospheric river or anything sustained as we talk about areas further to the south, the Central Valley, getting into the Four Corners region, of course, a little bit more inland there. We'll look at the overall pattern, the overall jet stream pattern that's driving all of this. And again, the quiet, warmer pattern has been driven by this broad ridge that continues to slide off to the east. Now, we'll watch what happens here over the next couple of days. We see a couple of waves impacting things. The first of which moving in right now, bringing the strong Pacific flow, Pacific moisture inland across the Pacific Northwest. That's going to continue to bring heavy rain to Washington and Oregon as we head through the mid and late part of the week. We then get a wave that dives in out of the north, coming in north to south, that helps kind of drive this trough south along the coast. This is where we'll get some precipitation to move a little bit further south into portions of California as we head into the weekend. Now, as this happens, we see this trough, deepen across the western U.S. We go back into a big amplified pattern. Now, the models seem to want to kind of, we lose the big trough, but what I'm trying to say is it looks like it wants to go back to this as we head into the middle part of November, potentially keeping active weather in place across the west. And so while the Pacific Northwest is going to be who's getting soaked, it's possible as we look further south across California, where we desperately need this rain, that we'll have more than just this opportunity this weekend as we head into deeper parts of the month of November, into mid and late November across the region. We've got support from that from some of our longer range ensembles. As I show you the European weeklies here and take it through the middle part of November, here's this first trough. This is what we're talking about this week into the weekend. Now, we lose that trough. It does pull away, but it looks like we get reinforcing shots that come around the backside here that kind of keep this overall pattern with troughing across the west coast in place even into the mid and late part of the month of November. So we get support with that coinciding with our precipitation forecast. We're looking at the precipitation anomaly forecast. Again, we see the trough making its way in right now, soaking the Pacific Northwest, bringing heavy snow into northern Idaho, Montana, and the Canadian prairies as we head through the weekend. And then again, at least getting some opportunity for some rain across central California into the Four Corners region. Likely drying out on the back side of that trough as we talk about the southern half of the west. We're going to continue to soak the Pacific Northwest well into into the middle part of November. But if I can just talk about, Central California and that region, it looks like, again, a pause as we head into next week, but then potentially it just wants to keep things, the opportunity for precipitation here as we head into the mid and late part of November here. So this is something Eric will be talking about a lot more in our long-range forecasts. I try to stay clear of the, 1 to 2 and certainly 3-week time frames here in these shorter regional forecast updates, but I know that getting some rain here across parts of Central California is just crucial here over the next couple of weeks as we look at the soil moisture percent of average here as of November 2nd. Again, extremely dry conditions across the Central Valley, and so we get support from this with the potential for an active pattern off and on into late November with the CFS as well, the CFS V2. We're looking at week 3 and week 4. So this is November 17th through the 23rd, and then November 24th through the 30th. And again, both runs here at least advertising the opportunity for some precipitation across California into the Four Corners region. All right, so I've given you hope in the last part of November. Let's talk about what we've got more confidence in, which is the next 5 to 7 days. We'll do that here with the European operational model. And again, watching the rains soak this region over the next 24 to 48 hours before starting to move south as we get into Thursday night and Friday. So heavy precipitation. This is now Thursday at 7 p.m. as we head into the overnight, starting to bring some of this moisture into Northern California. That'll linger Thursday night into Friday morning, continuing through the day on Friday, bringing it down into parts of the Sierras, Central California, as we get later into the day on a Friday. We'll keep this low with at least some off and on light precipitation lingering into Saturday. We get another wave that comes around the backside and kind of ramps things back up as we get into Saturday night and Sunday across western Oregon into Northern California, bringing another shot of precipitation down into the Sierras, into Central California here as we go through the day on Sunday. Then it's likely that we'll likely dry out as we head into the mid and late part of next week. You see a quick opportunity there for maybe some light showers in Northern California Tuesday night to Wednesday, but this wave really runs into some dry air and fades out as it makes its way further to the west. Where we will continue to blast precipitation and Pacific moisture is across the Pacific Northwest, even as we head deeper into next week and next weekend. So that's why I wanted to kind of set a table for what to expect here as we get beyond this time frame, November 13th, getting into November 15th through the 30th. Some advertising there that we will see at times that jet stream trying to sink down to the south and bring some moisture here into parts of California off toward the Four Corners region. So again, Pacific Northwest, you will continue to be soaked through the month of November. As we look further to the south, it looks more off and on in nature, but not necessarily a death sentence here, not looking completely dry, but the opportunities don't look sustained at this point. So here's the total forecast, the European model, total precipitation through Sunday evening. Again, heaviest off to the north, western portions of Washington, western Oregon, northern California. This is a swath of heavy snow then that makes its way through northern Idaho, northwestern Montana into the Canadian Prairie, and then opportunities for precipitation further to the south into Central California, off toward the Four Corners region. Total snow through the same time frame between now and 7 p.m. Again, a heavy swath expected off to the north. Some snow expected here across the Cascades into the Sierras as we get that system to move a little bit further south. Again, Friday through Monday looks like the time frame will start to bring the precipitation opportunities into the southern half of the western U.S. Now, to finish talking about temperatures, we'll look at the temperature anomaly loop. We'll take this into the weekend, again, keeping warmer temperatures in place until we get into the later part of the week. As that trough deepens across the region, we'll then bring a shot of cooler air in. I know that we're concerned about, looking at whether or not we have a frost risk as we talk about some of the citrus crops here in Central California. That is something we're going to have to watch as we get into early next week. Not a given, but we are going to be getting very close to the freezing mark down in parts of Central California. We'll also be talking about some strong winds at times as this trough deepens across the region. These are the wind gusts for Friday afternoon and then Saturday afternoon. So strongest across parts of the Central Rockies here into Central and Southern California on Friday. These strong winds make their way further to the west. Very strong winds gusting anywhere from 40 to 50 knots across the Four Corners region, the Central Rockies, as we head into Saturday afternoon. We'll look at your high temperatures then over the next 5 days. Again, keeping things warmer than average as we head through the next few days. It's as we get into the end of the week, into the weekend, we're really going to start to bring some cooler temperatures across much of the west here. Temperatures dropping back into the 40s and the 50s as we head into the weekend.